Hello, hello, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and more specifically, here in Alaska. As a matter of fact, I'm in the far, far north of Alaska, about 20 miles south of the Arctic Circle. The good thing is that does mean that we do have days every day. The sun doesn't go down for about 60 days as it does if you live above the Arctic Circle. So today we are going to look at this set, Peaceful Cabin. I knew the moment I saw this that this set was going to be a favorite, and I absolutely love it. And the card that we're going to do today is pretty spectacular as well, if I do say so myself. It is on page 38 of the mini catalog, July to December 2021. And we are going to use both the dies and the stamps on this one. So the bundle, if you buy a bundle, you get a 10% discount, as if you were to buy those separately. This is the other catalog that is current right now, the annual catalog. It goes until April 2022. If you need either of these catalogs, do not have them, because you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. So if you would ask for those, I'll be more than happy to get them for you, as well as letting you know that new catalogs are coming out January 2nd, 4th, I can't remember. This is the card that we are going to make today. I've done a few renditions of it. I'll show you these, but this is kind of a fun fold card. It's got some layers to it, but it's not very difficult at all. And as a matter of fact, what we're going to do is make our own paper here, because I didn't have the bundle, or not the bundle, the DSP, the Designer Series paper that I thought I had, that I really, really, really wanted to use for this. This is what I tried. This is from the Pattern Party Designer Series paper, DSP, and I like it well enough, but it's almost too busy. So I tried the reverse of this. Instead of having the dots in the middle, I had the, anyway, I just switched it, and still wasn't, I mean, it's good. I'm going to use it, but it still wasn't as happy with it as when I made my own paper. And so that's what we're going to do with this for now. So let's get started. We are first going to pull out our card base, and we are using Misty Moonlight. Couldn't think of the name of the color. Misty Moonlight. It's a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11, and it's cut on the 11-inch side at 5.5. And then we're going to score that in half like this. And then what we're going to do is take our cutter, we're going to open the paper back up. Now, we folded this at 4 1/4, and I want these, where'd my card go? I want these flaps that you can see on either side to be about 1 1/4 inches. And so I'm going to put this on the right hand side at 1 1/4, and then I'm going to move my cutter up to, and I'm not sure if you can see this, but I'm going to move right up to 4 1/4. Okay, and I have measurements on my protecting bar there. So I'm going to cut right up to 4 1/4. Then I'm going to turn it around, put it again on the right hand side at 1 1/4, and then I'm going to start at 4 1/4. So I'm going to move that to right to 4 1/4, push down, and cut. Just be sure you cut in the same direction. In other words, don't cut one here and one there. Okay, then I've got these 3 little flappy dudes. With those 3 little flappy dudes, you know, because you got to have flappy dudes, right? With those 3 little flappy dudes, I need to have papers cut for the size that I need on each of these. I need 2 of these, and these are, forgot to write this down, 2 3/4 by 4, So I need 2 plain basic white at 2 3/4 by 4, and then I need, oh shoot, this one isn't quite 4 inches. I need a 4 by 4, which I seem to have lost. So let me grab, I thought I had my 4 by, I thought I had everything here. All right, hold on one sec. So sorry about that. Okay, so I am going to cut this at 4 by 4. 4 by 4. Whoop. Cut, not score. At least I didn't do that backwards, right? All right, then this is going to become my 4 little pieces. And what we're going to do with this is, I tried, as you can, well, this is not the ones that I tried, using the paper, okay? And I liked it well enough, but in the set there is a star or a snowflake, and there's a cloud. So I'm going to use the snowflake now. Actually, I think that cloud is supposed to be smoke coming out of the chimney, but I'm not going to use it for that. So I've got my Misty Moonlight, and open that up. I am going to get rid of that. Tap, tap, tap. And I'm just going to put snowflakes all over the place. And it doesn't even really matter. I'm just kind of all over the place, and I want to go kind of quickly because I don't want to spend too much time making my own DSP. And you know, one of the things that I like about making my own DSP is, even in 10 years, when this designer series paper, okay, in a year and a half, 2 years, however long it is, when this designer series paper is no longer available, I can still do this card even though I don't have the designer series paper that I originally designed it with. Okay, there we go. Can you see that? I hope you could see that as I was making it. I may have gotten out of screen a little bit. Okay, so there's my designer series paper. Now, I do need to clean that die, and I've got a lot of ink on there, so I want to press that. I want to get as much of that ink off as I can before I clean it, and then I'm going to use my chamois and clean that up. There we go, nice and clean. Mostly I'm cleaning it because I'm going to use this block again here in a few minutes. And then I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut it. It's already at 4 by 4. Okay, so I'm going to put it at 1 inch. Cut. 1 inch. Cut. 1 inch. And slip my finger out, make sure it's still at 1 inch, and cut. All right, now I've got my 4 little pieces here. I'm going to set those aside. Well, hello, pick them up, set them aside. And now I'm basically going to do the same thing, only this time I'm going to use the smokestack or cloud, or you know, whatever it is, and I'm going to stamp off this time. I just stamped off and then put it back in the ink. Stamp off, stamp. And I'm just kind of moving it around. Oh, Patricia. Stamp off and then on. Stamp, stamp off. Oh, Lord. I'm getting in too big of a hurry. Stamp off. I may have to turn this around because I got a little bit of an edge there, but that's okay. There we go. Stamp, stamp off. My goodness, I can't even, I gotta say, stamp off. Stamp, stamp off. Give it a tap. Stamp off, give it a tap. Stamp off. Isn't that silly? I get busy talking though. When I did this for the one that I've already made. I didn't make a single mistake because I wasn't talking to somebody. You know how that is. Stamp off. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not that important, and it's not like anybody is really going to know, you know. So stamp off. Get it in there. Stamp off. Get it in there. Okay, that's good enough. I don't need to be really particular about this. Nobody is really, and if I'm not happy with it, I can always turn it over and do it again on the other side. I am going to get my ink off of there, so I smush it really good on there, and then get off as much ink as I can, and then use my chamois to clean that. Nice. Okay, so then got that piece. Now this is my other inside piece, and with it I am going to put Wishing You the Best. So open this back up. Again, I'm not sure if I said it. This is my Misty Moonlight, which matches the paper that I have. You know, that's one of the things. As a matter of fact, that's what made me become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Didn't make me, but you know what I mean. It was the impetus that I needed, I guess you could say, to decide to become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, because I was trying to match some colors of ink with cardstock, and I just couldn't find anything that matched. And a friend of mine said, who had been a demonstrator before, said, well, why don't you do Stampin' Up? And I'm like, oh, that's so expensive. I don't know that I want to do that. And she's like, okay, you know, and just let it go. And then I ended up going and using that, and I was so happy with the choice that I had made that eventually that was, like I said, what made me decide to become a demonstrator. Okay, so I'm going to put my clouds or smoke or whatever it is in the middle there, and then I'm going to put my snowflakes on either edge, and it helps if you line them up properly. And I'm just kind of picking one of the 4 of these. I'm not even being particular about it because they're not beside each other. It's not going to matter. And put them in there. Open this up. Put my... So I'm basically doing my card base here first, and then I will do the front. Okay, whoop, stay down. Okay, and I'm using liquid glue. I like liquid glue. It gives you a little bit of time, if you don't get it exactly right, to adjust every... Oh, I did this, and oh, you know what? I do need a little bit more glue in there, it appears. So I'm going to slip a little glue in there. There we go. And then this is my sentiment, my inside sentiment. I am going to have front sentiment. And there we go. That one just does not want to lay down. That's the funniest thing. Okay. There we go. Now, let's do our front pieces. So this is going to be my cabin. Okay, so I have the cabin, and I'm taking that Misty Moonlight again. Now, here's what you want to notice. If I take my die cut that I'm going to use to cut out, I want to have about an inch-ish, okay, like that. So this is about where I want my cabin to be. So I want to put it over there on that left-hand side. I'm going to give it a nice press. I'm also going to take my little fox. He's also going to be Misty Moonlight. I'm going to put him over there somewhere. There we go. Close. Oh, while we have this out, let's do our sentiment. And see, I did have most everything out. By the way, this piece is 5.5 And it doesn't really matter how tall it is, but here's something I noticed. You might be able to get the other side over there. I don't know, it depends on how big you make it. I think if you made it 4 inches, it's not quite 4 inches, it's almost there. And I think if I had made it just a little bit bigger, I would be able to use that other side. Okay, so this one I'm going to punch out. It says, "May you enjoy the peace of this beautiful season." Okay, and it doesn't even matter if this is stamped straight, because I'm going to punch it out. So let's punch it out first. I am using, you know what, I'll put the name of this punch in the comments below, because all of a sudden I don't remember what they are. But like I said, you don't even have to do it even, because when I put it in here, I can accept that I did it just a little too high. So I'm going to cut some of that off. Hello, come out of there, scissors. There we go. Okay. Now line it up. And you'll notice it won't move. Well, it did move a little bit. But I can hold this just a little bit, or press it just a little bit, and it'll hold it for me while I make sure that it's lined up. Punch. And there we go. How easy is that? Okay, by the way, to use these, you pull, to close it, you push it down like this. Then when you're ready to open it, you do this, and then you put your paper in so you can see it from the back. Don't try to punch like this. You'll never be able to line it up. Okay, and to close it, there you go. All right, this one I am going to put dimensionals on. So I am going to slice some of those and put some dimensionals on. Whoops! Pulled it off the paper. Don't do that very often, do I? There we go. All right. By the way, while we're watching me do dimensionals, isn't that exciting? Please be sure, if you have liked this video, to click the like button down below, or the thumbs up, I guess, more than a like button, and share this video. I would love to build my watchership. Is there such a word? My subscriptions. Subscribe down below too if you have not already done that. And we are ready to cut this puppy out. So we're going to put it on our die cut machine, Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and there we go. Line it all up. I just moved it, so I want to open it back up. Line it back up. Now I use some kind of low tack tape as a rule, like the purple tape or whatever. Well, and of course I didn't bring it over this time, so I don't have it here. But I'm at my school, which is where I have my videotape studio, because I've got a studio, don't you know? Set up. Well, Patricia, of course I did not have anywhere near this much trouble when I cut the first 6 out. Lay it on nice and flat. There we go. And roll it through. Come on, get in there. All right, got to roll it back a little bit. There we go. It's too bunched up. You'll see it when it comes out the other end. There we go. Sorry, it's shaking my table. Okay, so my studio is not perfect, right? And there we go. Isn't that awesome? I love die cuts. Just there is something about cutting out a shape and it being perfect or almost perfect every single time. All right, so it's had a little bit of an opportunity. Whoops, that's not what I want. To dry. So I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and give it a little bit of a push. And I'm going to put some shiny pretty on the top of my snow. And maybe a little bit here. Not on my fox, but just kind of around. Come on, a little bit more. Now, I know you don't really see this, but living in Alaska, I can tell you for sure that the snow often has sparklies. Can you see that? There we go. That does look like the snow looks. I love it. All right, we've almost got our card ready to go. There, and okay, so here's what I did. I used In the Pines, and then I was like, oh, you know what? That's not even current. So if you have In the Pines, you might want to use those. But I am going to use these that actually are in the set that we've been using right here. It's one piece, so you cut that out and then put it on here. Now, another thing that I did stamp and cut these out, by the way, with Evening Evergreen. And something else I kind of like to do, the trees can be white. I mean, they've got snow on them. There's obviously snow on the ground, right? But if I take my Evening Evergreen and just a little bit, very lightly, I'm not even doing very much, I'm going to give this a little extra color around those trees. I just kind of like the look of that. Sorry, it's moving the table again. So that's my Evening Evergreen. I just used the brush and brushed it on there. All right, I think my Wink of Stella has dried, so let's take our glue. I'm just going to put glue on the ends. By the way, when I made this, I used the heavier cardstock. I did not use the normal cardstock because I'm using it as a connector piece between these two flaps. Okay, so there we go. And I didn't get extra glue. It just, there we go. Isn't that so cool? All right, let's put our sentiment on. Oh, we need to put our trees on. So I'm going to put my trees here and here. Now, what I'm going to do is I can glue it just the least little bit over on this side, but underneath there, I can glue the whole thing, okay? So I'm going to put just the least little bit of glue over on this side, and then down at the bottom, and slip it in. There we go. Okay, and essentially these are the same. I'm going to put some glue down here, and then a little, oh, I don't want to go too far. Oops, I went too far. I need to scrape that off. Scrape it off. I want to put it on this side. There we go. May have to use my eraser, my glue eraser, after I get done putting this card together. Okay, there we go. Do I have glue on there still? Yeah, a little bit. I'll have to use my glue eraser. There we go. And where did my sentiment go? I punched it out and I put dimensionals blah, 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 on it. And now I have glue on my fingers. This one. Okay. My sentiment. Now I need to make sure my sentiment goes under my tree and inside this cut right here. And there we go. All right, there is my, you can see my green there. So when I erase that with my eraser, you'll see that that won't be there. All right, there we go. How cool is that? Love it, love it, love it. An awesome, awesome card. And then plenty of room to write here on it. Do you love that? I just think it's so cool. If you would give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate that. Share the video as well. That is always appreciated. It helps kind of get the word out there and improve my readership or viewing, whatever you want to call it. Also, as I already mentioned, click that subscribe button, and then if you ring that bell right beside the subscribe button, then you will get notifications anytime I post a new video. Thank you so much. Have a good one wherever you are, and we'll see you next time.